जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजना। यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजना। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजना। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। जय कृष्ण रुक्मिणी जय सत्यभामा। कृष्ण रुक्मिणी जय सत्यभामा। जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय। गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय। जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद His Divine Grace Vishwaguru A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada की जय। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद His Divine Grace श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्भागवतम की जय। श्री श्री कृष्ण रुक्मिणी सत्यभामा की जय। श्री श्री गौरनिताय की जय। विश्वगुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 26, Fundamental Principles of Material Nature, text number 15. Yes, verse number 15. Etavan eva sankhyatāh etavan eva sankhyato etavan eva sankhyato brahmanah sagunasya ha brahmanah sagunasya brahmanah sagunasya sanniveshah maya proktah sannivesho maya prokto sannivesho maya prokto yaha kalah panchavimshakah yakala panchavimshakah yakala panchavimshakah etavaneva sankhyato brahmanah sagunasya sannivesho maya prokto yakala panchavimshakah etavaneva sankhyato brahmanah sagunasya sannivesho maya prokto yakala panchavimshakah
एतावानेव संख्यातो ब्रह्मणः सगुणस्यः सन्निवेशो मया प्रोक्तो यः कालः पञ्चविंशकः
एतावानेव संख्यातो ब्रह्मणः सगुणस्यः सन्निवेशो मया प्रोक्तो यः कालः पञ्चविंशकः
एतावानेव संख्यातो ब्रह्मणः सगुणस्यः सन्निवेशो मया प्रोक्तो यः कालः पञ्चविंशकः
etavan, so much, eva, just, sankhyatāh, enumerated, brahmanah, of Brahman, sagunasya, with material qualities, ha, indeed, sanniveshah, arrangement, maya, by me, proktah, spoken, yaha, which, kalah, time, panchavimshakah, the 25th. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. All these are considered the qualified Brahman. The mixing element, which is known as time, is counted as the 25th element. Kindly repeat. All these are considered the qualified Brahman. The mixing element, which is known as time, is counted as the 25th element. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. According to the Vedic version, there is no existence beyond Brahman. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. Chandogya Upanishad 3.14.1. It is stated also in the Vishnu Purana that whatever we see is Parasya Brahmanaha Shaktihi. Everything is an expansion of the energy of the Supreme Absolute Truth, Brahman. When Brahman is mixed with the three qualities of goodness, passion and ignorance, there results the material expansion, which is sometimes called Saguna Brahman, and which consists of these 25 elements. In the Nirguna Brahman, where there is no material contamination, or in the spiritual world, the three modes, goodness, passion and ignorance, are not present. Where Nirguna Brahman is found, simple unalloyed goodness prevails. Saguna Brahman is described by the Sankhya system of philosophy as consisting of 25 elements, including the time factor, past, present and future. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prayashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mokam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Deenataranam. Few months back, a movie was released in Tamil called Amaran. And the movie performed well at the box office. At the same time, it was praised a lot. Even politicians were praising. I think even the Chief Minister also praised, Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, that it's a very good movie. On a real life story, the real life story, Mukundan, one Major Mukund. The Major Mukund was serving in the Indian Army. He was from Avadi in Chennai. His family was there. He was from that part of Chennai city. And he did his education, got some degree, and he joined the Indian Army. As a major in the Indian Army, he was posted in Kashmir. And one time it so happened, there was a gunfight between the army and some terrorists who had infiltrated into Kashmir. So this Major Mukund was leading the counter-attack against the terrorists. And these terrorists, fleeing from the army, went into one house and they were hiding there, and they were firing at the army, at the soldiers. So this Major Mukund soldier, they very bravely, although they were getting constantly fired upon, they somehow managed to get into the house. But Major Mukund's one colleague, he was shot and he collapsed. And this terrorist was firing from behind, protected himself and he was firing. So seeing no other way, Major Mukund rushed at him, exposing himself, constantly firing at him, and he managed to neutralize that terrorist. There were two more people two more terrorists within that house. Major fought against them and he managed to neutralize them also. And then he came out of the house and then waved to the rest of his colleagues who were waiting outside that everything is clear, all the terrorists are gone, you can all safely come in. So immediately the other soldiers, they started walking towards him and he suddenly collapsed. He had taken 3 bullets and he passed away. So the movie was a story about him, and for his bravery, Major Mukund was awarded the Ashoka Chakra. The Ashoka Chakra is the highest award given to soldiers who sacrifice their life during peacetime. During war time, it is different. War time, they have Paramveer Chakra and all those things. But during peacetime, when there is no war, in some situation like this with some terrorist attack or something like that, if they show exemplary bravery without caring for their own life, then they are given the highest award that can be given is the Ashoka Chakra. So he got the Ashoka Chakra award posthumously. So you can see how he, for the sake of the country, without even caring for his own life, he gave the supreme sacrifice and neutralized those 3 terrorists. All 3 terrorists were killed by him. Now, while we hear of these kind of incidents where people sacrifice their life for protecting the innocent people, currently one big news is going on in the country about one woman, Muskan Rastogi. She murdered her own husband because she had an affair. She was married to this one person, and she had a daughter also, and she got into some drugs and developed a relationship with another person, and she murdered her husband. This has become very prominent news all over the country. You can see, one hand, there are people sacrificing their life for protecting others, protecting the innocent people. And on the other hand, you have people who, for the sake of their own sense gratification, they are killing their own relatives, their own people. And how did she do it? She put some sedatives in some food she fed him, and when he fell asleep, stabbed him and killed him. And then put him into a drum and cement, concrete. Can you imagine the level of this one that is there, how depraved mind it is. So we have, both kinds of people. So coming to today's verse, Kapiladeva is telling Devahuti about the material nature, because Devahuti's question was, Kapiladeva having explained about the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the Jiva, the living entity, Devahuti wanted to know what is the relationship between the material nature and the Supreme Absolute Truth. In reply to her question, we are seeing in this chapter Kapiladeva explaining the fundamental principles of material nature. And in explaining the fundamental principles of material nature, Kapiladeva explained how this entire material manifestation begins in a subtle form as the energetic pradhana, and from that pradhana manifests the Mahatattva, which is a undifferentiated mass of matter, and that within that Mahavishnu enters along with all the jivas, and by his glance the 3 modes of material nature get differentiated within Mahatattva, and they start interacting, and then Prakriti comes into existence, which will consist of all the varieties of earth, water, fire, air, then mind, intelligence, false ego, the 5 objects of the senses, form, taste, smell, touch, and form, taste, touch, smell, and sound. These 5 sense objects. Then the 5 knowledge acquiring senses, jnanendriyas, eyes, ears, nose, the tongue and the skin, and the 5 working senses, hands, legs, voice, the genitals and the rectum. So altogether, these constitute 24 elements. Now, Kapiladeva is counting 1, 2, 3, 4, and finally arriving at a figure of 24 elements, which comprise this manifestation, Prakriti, which, and the interaction of all these 24 elements combined with the 25th element, which is time, brings about the varieties within the manifestation that we see. And so because he is counting how many elements are there and arriving at the figure 25, so therefore it is stated here, Etavayaneva Sankhyato. So much in this manner, this is enumerated. Prabhupada is translating the word Sankhyataha as enumerated. Enumerated means ascertaining the count, ascertaining the number, how many numbers are there in a given list. Either you list out 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. You make a list like that, that's called enumeration. So Sankhyaataha, meaning the making a counting list of the elements which constitute the material manifestation, which Kapiladeva has enumerated already 24 elements, and now today he is saying Yaha Kalaha Panchavimshakaha. Panchavimshakaha. Vimshati means 20 in Sanskrit. Pancha means 5. Panchavimshati means 25. Panchavimshakaha means 25th. So, Kalaha Panchavimshakaha, and time is the 25th element. So, 24 elements, he has already given the list, counted them and added the 25th element. And so, therefore, he is saying, Etavaneva Sankhyaataha. So, in this way, the material manifestation, the material nature is enumerated. What are the components of material nature is enumerated. It is listed out, it is counted. Therefore, from this counting, Sankhayatiti Sankhyaha. Sankhya means number. 1, 2, 3, 4, these are all Sankhyas. When you make a count of numbers, it becomes Sankhyaataha. It is a count of the numbers it is a count of Sankhya. It is called Sankhyaataha. Sankhayatiti Sankhyaha. Because you make a count of the elements constituting Prakriti, therefore this philosophy is called Sankhya. The word Sankhya comes from the root word Sankhya, which means number. So, that is how, because the different elements are being listed out, therefore, this philosophy which is propagated by Kapiladeva is called Sankhya philosophy. Etavaneva Sankhyato Brahmanaha Sagunasyaha. Of what is this count being established? Of Saguna Brahman. Now, what is Saguna Brahman? If you look at Mayavadis, they state Brahman is of two kinds, Saguna Brahman, Nirguna Brahman. Nirguna Brahman means Brahman, the absolute truth, which is without any attributes, no qualities. It is completely without any form, without any description, without any qualities. You cannot describe it, you cannot see it, you cannot feel it. That is the absolute truth. That is called Nirguna Brahman. Now that Nirguna Brahman, when it descends into the material world and it gets covered by the three gunas, the modes of passion, ignorance and goodness, Satoguna, Rajoguna and Tamoguna, when that Nirguna Brahman becomes covered by these three modes of material nature within the material world, it is called Saguna Brahman. The same Brahman. The same Brahman in this material world, it gets covered by the three modes and creates an illusion of several individual personalities like you and me. This is an illusion. Actually, you and I don't exist. Brahman Satya, Jagan Mithya. This entire world you are seeing is also Mithya. It is all illusion. When that Saguna Brahman, which is you and me, Shri Krishna Rukmini Satyabhama ki jai. When Saguna Brahman, that is you and me, we come out of the covering of the three modes of material nature, we will realize I am that Nirguna Brahman, and we will merge into that Nirguna Brahman, Kaivalya, and we will lose all sense of being individuals separate from that Nirguna Brahman. This is the philosophy of Mayavada. Now, the problem with this philosophy is that it states that something can put the supreme absolute truth into illusion. And the moment Prakriti is able to put Brahman into illusion, then Prakriti becomes more powerful than Brahman. Isn't it? So that means Brahman, the three modes of material nature are controlling Brahman. They are that Prakriti becomes superior to Brahman. Then how can Brahman be the absolute truth? In the Shvetasvatara Upanishad, it is stated that Chandamsi yajnaha kratavo vratani bhutam bhavyam yaccha veda vadanti yasman mayi srijate vishwametat tasman shanyo mayaya sanniruddha mayam tu prakritim vidyan mayinam tu maheshwaram tasyavayava sthitaha bhutani yasyedam vyaptam jagat. This is what Shvetasvatara Upanishad states. So what is Shvetasvatara Upanishad stating? It is stating that Chanda means all the verses which are there in the Vedas. Chandamsi yajnaha, all the yajnas that we have to perform. Kratavaha, vratani, all the vratas, vows, the austerities, tapasya, whatever you undertake, whatever is described in the Vedas. Bhutam bhavyam. And not only that, whatever has happened in the past, whatever is going to happen in the future. Bhutam bhavyam yaccha veda vadanti. Whatever is spoken in the Vedas. All these put together. Not only this, all these things put together are created along with Yasman Mayi Srijate Vishwametat. They are created along with this material world. Vishwam, this material world is created along with whatever is described in the Vedas, whatever is past, whatever is future, everything is created along with the material world. So material world is made up of matter and the Vedas are supposed to be transcendental. So transcendental as well as material nature, both are created. Created by whom? By Srijate Mayinam. Mayi Srijate Vishwametat. The person who possesses Maya, who possesses the energy of Maya, he creates, Srijate, he creates this entire universe along with the verses of the Vedas, the different austerities, tapasyas, the kinds of vows, the yajnas, sacrifices which are prescribed, whatever has happened in the past, present, everything, meaning time factor. Time consists of past, present and future, as Prabhupada is mentioning here. So, along with the time, whatever is given in the Vedas and this material universe is all created by the Mayi, the person who possesses Maya. And within that, Tasmin, within that universe where all these things are created, Tasmin Chanyo Mayaya Sanniruddha. Within this universe, where all these elements of time and the Vedas and the yajnas, sacrifices, and all the Karma Kanda portion of the Vedas, all these things are created. Into that, Anyaha, another living entity, not the Mayi, not the person who is possessing Maya, who is the controller of Maya, who is the energetic person, not him, but another living entity, Anyaha, Mayaya Sanniruddaha. He is put into this universe and put under the control of Maya. So there are two types of living entities. One is Mayi, one who is possessing Maya, who controls Maya. Another is one who is put into that Maya and put under the control of Maya. These are the two kinds of living entities. And further, the Shvetasvatara Upanishad is confirming, it is clarifying, Mayam tu prakritim vidyan. Please understand that Maya, or the what is known as Maya, is nothing but Prakriti. It is the energy of the Supreme. And Mayinam tu Maheshwaram. And the person who is the possessor of Maya, he is the controller. So one is Maya Sanniruddaha, one Jiva which is controlled by Maya, and here he is Mayinam tu Maheshwaram Viddhi. Know that Mayinam, the person who controls Maya, is the Maheshwara. So there is the Maheshwara and there is the Jiva. So, and the Shvetasvatara Upanishad further confirms, Yasyavayava sthitaha. All the living entities, Yasyavayaha bhutani, all the living entities who are put under the control of material nature within this material world are the Avayava, they are the limbs, they are the part and parcel of that Maheshwara. So, and these living entities, Vyaptam idam sarvam vishwam, they are spread all over this material universe. Anywhere in this universe you go, you will find living entities. You will see even within fire there are living entities. You go into the ocean, deep into the ocean you go, there are also living entities there also. You go to Russia, there is a place which is so cold, minus 40 degrees centigrade, you will find people there also. You go to Antarctica, you will find living entities there. You will go to the desert, there also you will find living entities. Living entities are spread everywhere. So these living entities are the part and parcel of that Maheshwara, and they are put under the control of material nature. So that supreme absolute truth, Brahman, cannot come under the control of material nature because he is Maheshwara and he is Mayi. He is the possessor of the energy called Maya, which is what manifests Prakriti, and so he cannot come under the control of Prakriti. So how can he be the Saguna Brahman? He cannot be the Saguna Brahman which is under the control of material nature. So Krishna, the supreme absolute truth, he is the possessor of all energy. The example, as Prabhupada is giving here, Prabhupada mentions that Vishnu Purana states that whatever we see is Parasya Brahmanaha Shaktihi. So the example given in the Vishnu Purana is that, sorry, the example given is that of a fire. When a fire is situated in one place, it will distribute heat and light all around. If you have an enclosed room which is fully dark and you light one fire, immediately what will happen? You will feel that the whole room has become lit up. Darkness is gone. And if it is very cold, you light a fire, immediately you will feel warmth. So just like the fire spreads heat and light, similarly, Parasya Brahmanaha Shakti Sarvedam Akhilam Jagat. This entire universe is pervaded by the energy of Krishna. So, just like a fire being situated in one place, it spreads its heat and light all around without the fire losing its existence. Similarly, Krishna is the supreme absolute truth. He is a person. He spreads this energy all over the universe without him losing his existence. He continues to remain the controller of Maya, and he continues to remain the possessor of that energy called Maya, while the living entities are also his energy, they are his part and parcel. Like Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Mama Ivamcho Jivaloka Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha. Eternally, we are all part and parcel of Krishna, and we are also spread everywhere, all over the universe. So this is the position of the living entities and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, but although Krishna may be the absolute truth, and he is the possessor of Maya, sometimes we see Krishna incarnates as Vishnu, he incarnates as Narasimha, Vamana, the fish incarnation, tortoise incarnation. The Supreme Lord incarnates and enters into the material world. Sometimes Krishna also comes himself. He himself comes into this material world. So how do we understand? So the Nirguna Brahman, as if Krishna is that Nirguna Brahman, he has entered into the Saguna Brahman. So how do we understand that? The Bhagavatam says, Etad Ishanam Ishasya Prakritistopi Tadgunaihi Na Yujyate Sadatmasthair Yatha Buddhis Tadashraya. That when Krishna enters this material nature, Prakritistopi, he enters into the material nature. Krishna personally comes, and Krishna's various incarnations, Rama, Narasimha, so many incarnations, Varaha, all of them also enter into this material universe. And although they enter into Prakriti, Prakritistopi, although they situate themselves inside Prakriti, Prakritistopi, Tad Gunaihi na yujyate, they do not become influenced by the three modes of material nature. Krishna and his incarnations, although they enter within Prakriti, they are not bound by the laws of material nature. Etad Ishanam Ishasya. And this fact that the Supreme Lord enters into Prakriti but remains unaffected by Prakriti, he remains the controller of Prakriti, is the proof of his supremacy. Is the proof that he is the supreme controller. Etad Ishanam Ishasya. This proves the supremacy, Ishanam, of Isha, of the supreme controller. Otherwise, if Krishna were to enter into Prakriti and become controlled by Prakriti, by the three modes of material nature, then he cannot be the supreme controller. So, the very fact that Krishna enters within Prakriti and remains unaffected by it testifies that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the proof of the supremacy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, interestingly, Bhagavatam doesn't stop there. Bhagavatam further goes on and it says, Sadatmasthair yatha buddhis tadashraya. That not only Krishna is like this, all the jivas, out of all the jivas who are controlled by Prakriti, those who yatha buddhis tadashraya, tad ashraya, those who have taken shelter of Krishna, even they, being within this material Prakriti, are not under the control of the three modes of material nature. So how do we understand that? We can very clearly understand we are all under the influence of the three modes of material nature. We are all under the control of Saguna Brahman, which is this material manifestation. Mayavadis state that the supreme absolute truth, when it takes on attributes, it becomes Saguna Brahman. That's not our understanding. Our philosophy, very clearly based on the Upanishads and the Puranas, states that the energy of the Supreme Lord, which manifests this material world, is called Saguna Brahman. And Krishna, he being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is not influenced by these three modes of material nature, Sattva-guna, Rajoguna and Tamoguna, and therefore he is Nirguna. And at the same time, all of us, we are living entities who are within this material nature, and because we have entered into this Vishwam, this material universe, we are Maya Sanniruddha, we are controlled by material nature. So how can a jiva like us, who is controlled by material nature, overcome the influence of material nature simply by surrendering to the lotus feet of Krishna? How do we understand this? So to understand this, we go back to the example that we spoke about two people. One is the soldier, Major Mukund. Another is Muskan Rastogi. Muskan Rastogi killed one person. She is behind bars. The police have arrested her and put her behind bars. Major Mukund killed 3 people. He killed 3 people, not one. Muskan killed 1 person, she is in jail. Major Mukund killed 3 people. Can any police go and arrest him? Impossible. Any police goes to him and tell him, you killed 3 people, I am going to arrest you on the charges of murder. What will he tell? He will tell, I am not under your law, sir. You have no jurisdiction over me. I am a soldier. I am working for the country. I am working under the authority of the supreme commander of the armed forces, which is the president of the country. So I am directly under him. You have no jurisdiction over me. So when a soldier is working under the supreme commander of the country, then ordinary laws of the country are not applicable to him. He is beyond the jurisdiction of the common law. Isn't it? That is why Major Mukund killed 3 people. He was given an award, the highest award in the army, which is Ashoka Chakra. So Muskan killed 1 person, no award for her. Why? Because she is doing it on her own. She is not authorized by the government to act on her behalf. So therefore, she comes under the law of the land, which is enforced by the police. But the police has no jurisdiction over the soldier who is fighting for the country. The more number of people the soldier kills, the more he will be awarded. Is exact reverse. So you see how when a person is he is serving the supreme person in a country, he is no more under the jurisdiction of the law which applies to common people. Common citizens are controlled by the police, but the soldier is not controlled. Similarly, when a devotee surrenders to Krishna, who is the supreme personality of Godhead, then he is no more under the control of the 3 modes of material nature. He is no more under the control of Saguna Brahman. He is directly under the control of Nirguna Brahman, which is Krishna. And so therefore, even the material nature has no influence on a devotee who is fully surrendered to Krishna. So, if simply by surrendering to Krishna, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Mam cha yo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate Sagunan samattityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Krishna says, one who is engaged in unalloyed devotional service to Krishna, avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. If someone is engaged in serving Krishna directly, under the instructions of Krishna's representative, the pure devotee spiritual master, like Srila Prabhupada, then what happens? Sa gunan samatitya. He surpasses the 3 modes of material nature. So, if a living entity surrenders to Krishna and starts being directed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, then he is no more under the laws of material nature. So, if somebody surrenders to Krishna, simply by surrendering to Krishna, a jiva can overcome the 3 modes of material nature. Then where is the question of 3 modes of material nature overcoming Krishna? It is not possible. Therefore, we have to understand, when Krishna descends into this material world, it is not that Nirguna Brahman has taken on a form and that Krishna is Saguna Brahman and there is a Nirguna Brahman above him. That is not the fact. Fact is, Krishna is the Nirguna Brahman because the 3 modes of material nature have no influence over him. And he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the Param Satya. He is the absolute truth, over whom material nature has no influence, although he may personally enter within this material Prakriti and he may manifest many activities within this material nature, but none of those activities, none of those qualities of Krishna are under the influence of the 3 modes of material nature. So therefore, Krishna is the Nirguna Brahman. He is the person who is not under the influence of the 3 modes of material nature. So, if Krishna is not he is not influenced by the 3 modes of material nature, it does not mean that he has no qualities at all. He does not have the qualities of the material world, Sattva-guna, Rajoguna and Tamoguna, but he possesses Vishuddha Sattva. When these three gunas go out, when Sattva-guna, Rajoguna and Tamoguna are no more acting upon a jiva, then the jiva is under the control of Vishuddha Sattva. So the quality continues. Purified goodness will prevail. And so Krishna, whatever activities Krishna performs and whatever qualities Krishna displays, exhibits, they are all of the category of Vishuddha Sattva, purified goodness, not the contaminated goodness of Sattva-guna within this material world. And so therefore, we have to understand when Kapiladeva is referring to Saguna Brahman, he is not saying that Supreme Personality of Godhead, when he descends into the material world, he becomes controlled by material nature, and that's how he gets the form of Krishna, Rama, Varaha, etc. No, that is a wrong understanding. The correct understanding the correct conclusion which we can come to by scrutinizingly studying the Upanishads, Vedanta Sutras, Bhagavad Gita, etc. is Saguna Brahman refers to these 25 elements which constitute Prakriti. Prakriti is called Saguna Brahman because it is infused with the three modes of material nature and it is spread everywhere, all over the universe. And the living entities are put into that material universe to be controlled by that very Saguna Brahman. And so therefore, the Upanishads are stating that Mayaya Sanniruddhaha, Tasminchanyo Mayaya Sanniruddhaha, the living entity which is controlled by that Prakriti, by Saguna Brahman, is put into this material world to fulfill his desires of sense gratification. And when he stops his activities of sense gratification and surrenders to Krishna and executes pure devotional service, unmotivated, uninterrupted devotional service to Krishna, then what happens? He overcomes the influence of the three modes of material nature, or in other words, he becomes a liberated person. And so therefore, we have to understand what is Saguna Brahman, what is Nirguna Brahman, and Kapila Sankhya philosophy wants to establish by counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 25 elements he has counted, and he has said this constitutes Saguna Brahman. Now out of these 25 elements, he has not counted the Jivatma and he has not counted the Paramatma. Therefore, Saguna Brahman is not the absolute truth which has taken on attributes. It is not that Brahman which has come to this material universe to be covered by Maya. That's not Saguna Brahman. Saguna Brahman refers to these 25 elements which are Prakriti or dead matter. Beyond this Saguna Brahman are two other Brahmans, which is the Brahman, the Jiva, and the Parabrahman, which is Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this is how Kapiladeva is differentiating between matter and living entity using the system, the philosophy of Sankhya, where we list and count what are the elements which constitutes this material nature. And so, therefore, the Jiva is not matter. The conclusion that we have to come to is the Jiva is beyond all these 25 elements. This material nature, Prakriti, whatever we see, is made up of only these 25 elements. There is nothing other than that. But we also see there is a Jiva, there is a living entity. So he is not one of these 25 elements. That means he is not Jada Prakriti. He is a Para Prakriti. He is of a superior nature because he possesses consciousness. And that Jiva is also not the supreme. It is the Paramatma who is the supreme, which is Krishna. And in this way, we can understand our position, the position of Prakriti, the position of Krishna, and how all these three things are related. And by understanding this, we can become liberated and fixed up in pure devotional service, unmotivated pure devotional service to Krishna. That is the goal of Sankhya philosophy. So I'll stop here. If anybody has any questions, we can discuss. Anybody has anything to ask? Sudama Prabhu.
You quoted a verse from Bhagavatam, Etad Ishanam Ishasya. And you said that the Lord and the Lord's devotees, even though they come in contact with material nature, they are not affected.
Yes.
But in the case of Lord Shiva, we say he's Lord himself.
Yeah.
But still, because he's coming in contact with material nature, he's like...
Mode of ignorance.
Yes. So, it's like milk and curd.
Yes.
Although he's the Lord himself, still he's different because he's coming in contact with
He
material
is transformed.
nature. Transformed. So, how do we resolve this apparently contradictory?
That is because you have to understand that Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, they are designated Lokapalas. They are designated rulers of the universe. And to rule over the universe, they have been assigned a responsibility. Brahma is assigned the responsibility of creating this universe. And the process of creation, like we have discussed in the previous verses also, the process of creation happens with the energy of Rajoguna, the mode of passion. Without the mode of passion, creation cannot happen. So the drive for creation comes from the mode of passion. So therefore, because Brahma has been given the responsibility to create, do the secondary creation of this material universe, he takes charge of the mode of passion. Without engaging the mode of passion, he cannot create. It's not possible to create. So that's how Brahma comes in touch with the mode of passion. Now, material nature has also to be annihilated when the time period of the material creation gets over. Now, creation is done with the mode of passion. Destruction is done with the mode of ignorance, tamoguna. Without the mode of tamoguna, you cannot destroy anything. Now, Lord Shiva is entrusted with the responsibility to destroy the universe when the time of pralaya comes, when the time, when Brahma's lifespan gets over and this universe has to be wound up. At that time, Lord Shiva gets that responsibility to carry out the process of pralaya. Now, to carry out that destruction, Lord Shiva has to he has to use the mode of ignorance. Without that, he cannot destroy. And so naturally, he comes in touch. He has to come in touch with the mode of ignorance. And so therefore, he comes into contact with the mode of ignorance. This is how we have to understand. Although Lord Shiva he comes in touch with the mode of ignorance, still he is not under its control. He is above its control. And that is why the mode of ignorance is personified by Durga. And Durga is his wife and he controls her. So, when it comes to the pure devotees of Krishna, the pure devotees like Srila Prabhupada is there, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is there, the Shad Goswamis are there. These are all pure devotees. They are not interested with either creation or destruction. So they don't have to come in touch with either the mode of ignorance or the mode of passion. They are completely transcendental. They remain like that. So we have to understand it that way. Is that okay? Any other point? Yes, Vedatma Prabhu.
Among the 24 elements, we are talking about 25th element as time.
Yes.
So the time element is the first one which is started functioning or before the 24 elements.
What it is mentioned in today's verse, I'll read the translation again. All these means the 24 elements which have been described are considered the qualified Brahman, Saguna Brahman. The mixing element, which is known as time, is counted as the 25th element. So what do we understand by this? Now, Saguna Brahman, what happens is first there is Pradhana, which is unmanifest, which is Avyakta. And that when it manifests, it becomes the Mahat Tattva, which is like an undifferentiated mass of all the combined 24 elements. All right. Now, when Vishnu glances over material nature, the material nature, Prakriti, gets agitated. How does it get agitated? It is agitated by the time element, the 25th element. So time sets into motion. Time is set into motion with Vishnu's glance. The moment time is set into motion, it's like a stop clock is sitting there. You press the button, immediately 1, 2, 3, it starts. So the moment that time element is set into motion, immediately what happens? The three modes of material nature differentiate out and they start mixing in various proportions, and all the undifferentiated matter differentiates into all these 24 elements, and they will all start combining in various proportions to bring out all the kinds of forms, variegated forms that we see in this material universe. Understand? So, time actually, it sets into motion the whole process of bringing about the variegatedness within this material universe, and therefore it is known as the mixing element. That is why Prabhupada is referring to the mixing element, which is known as time, is counted as the 25th element. That is how we understand. Is that okay? Time is always present. Time is not created. Time is eternal. Prakriti is also eternal, but in the form of pradhana. The manifestations, like the forms we are seeing, the different planets, the different forms of the living entities, the oceans, the mountains, all these forms that we see, they are temporary, they are not eternal. All of them are arising out of different combinations of these 24 elements brought about by the time element. When the time is, Prabhupada defines time as the force which brings about change. So the moment time element sets into motion, what happens? The moment the time element kicks in, it forces change to happen. What is that change? All these elements which are lying dormant, the three modes of material nature start mixing in different proportions, and all the elements start mixing in different proportions according to the proportions of the three modes of material nature, and all these different forms are manifested. And at the time of annihilation, all of them will again get destroyed. They will all merge into, they will go back to their original state of these 24 elements, and these 24 elements will again become the undifferentiated mass of Mahatattva, which will again merge into that pradhana. So pradhana is always there. Prakriti in the form of pradhana is eternal. It is always there, and time element is also eternally there. So as Prabhupada mentions in the introduction to the Bhagavad Gita, there is Ishvara, there is Jiva, there is Prakriti, and there is Kala. These are the four subject matters of the Bhagavad Gita. And out of this, Prabhupada says, five. Karma. Karma is the fifth element. So these five topics are what are described in the Bhagavad Gita. Out of these five, Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, and Kala, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the living entity, the material nature, and time element, these are eternal. Karma, the actions and reactions of the activities of the jiva within this material world, that is temporary. The only karma is temporary. So other four are eternal. So therefore, time is eternally present. Prakriti in the form of pradhana is eternally present. The manifestation of Prakriti is temporary, it is illusory. That is how we understand. Is that okay? So we'll stop here. Grantharaj Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai, Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.